A very warm welcome to all my dear students. How are you? I hope you all are fine. So, today I'm going to start this very good chapter of chemistry, that is chemical bonding. The whole chemistry completely depends upon this chapter because this chapter describes us how the molecules, the compounds are formed and how they are formed. ठीक है, कैसे वो कंपाउंड्स बनते हैं, हाउ दे रिएक्ट विद ईच अदर एंड व्हाट दे रिजल्ट आफ्टर द रिएक्शन. ठीक है. So as the chapter name is chemical bonding, bonding means to make a connection between two or more than two things. बॉन्डिंग का एक छोटा सा सिंपलेस्ट मतलब होता है. द बॉन्डिंग सिंपलेस्ट मीन्स दैट to make a connection between two or more than two things. We all know very well in previous chapter, that is periodic table, we have learned that there are more than 100 elements found on earth crust, and we all know very well that all these elements are not stable yet. only there are only there are 7 elements. ठीक है, sorry, there are 6 elements only: helium, neon, argon, krypton, xenon and radon. Only these 6 elements are stable because they have the stable electronic configuration. Rest of the elements are not stable due to the incomplete outermost shell. So to complete this electronic structure, to complete their octet and to get stable, these elements get combined with the other elements, resulting in the formation of a bond named as chemical bond. Named as chemical bond. ठीक है. Chemical bond. What do you mean by chemical bond? Chemical bond means a bond which results by a force of attraction. A bond, a force of attraction in a molecule between two atoms. ठीक है? To maintain the stability. For example, I am taking example over here. A very common example, H2O. In oxygen, there are 6 electrons in outermost shell, while in hydrogen there are only 1 electron in outermost shell. ऑक्सीजन में 6 है और हाइड्रोजन में सिर्फ 1 इलेक्ट्रॉन है outermost shell. ठीक है. To get stable, oxygen require 2 more electrons. Oxygen require 2 more electrons. अब ये बात कैसे पता चली? Because to get stability, each element require the minimum number of electrons, that is 8 electrons in its outermost shell. Or we can say that in a chemical combination, each element try to gain the nearest noble gas electronic configuration. हर एलिमेंट ये चाहता है कि उसके नियरेस्ट जो भी noble gas है. noble gas means 6 elements: helium, neon, argon, krypton, xenon, radon. ठीक है. इनमें से जो भी एलिमेंट नियरेस्ट आपका है उसका इलेक्ट्रॉनिक कॉन्फ़िगरेशन गेन करेगा. So for this, either it has to complete its octet. Octet means 8 electrons in outermost shell. But in case of hydrogen and helium, it is duplet. That means 2 electrons in outermost shell. Because according to Bohr-Bury principle, किसी भी एलिमेंट में मैक्सिमम नंबर ऑफ इलेक्ट्रॉन किसी भी शेल में 2n square होता है. If we put the value of n1, so in first shell only 2 electrons can come. Hydrogen and helium has only one shell, so they can't acquire more than 2 electrons. That's why hydrogen and helium complete their duplet while rest of the elements complete their octet. Now coming on the example back, water, oxygen require 2 electrons because it has 6 electrons in outermost shell, so it will try to complete it by 8. While hydrogen have only one shell, so it need only 1 electron. So what will happen? They will try to satisfy themselves. उनके बीच में जो bonds का formation हो रहा है, ठीक है, which result in the stable compound that is known as chemical bond. Basically, to get stability, there are 3 methods: ionic bond, covalent bond and coordinate. होते तो 2 methods हैं, ionic bond and sharing, but sharing भी 2 तरह से होती है, so we classified them in 2 ways, covalent and coordinate. First of all, we will study about ionic bond. Ionic bonds are also known as electrovalent bond. Ionic bond is also known as electrovalent bond. बेटा नेम से ही क्लियर है, ionic bond means the constituent particles of these are ions. Constituent particles of these are ions. अब ions क्या होते हैं? What are ions? We all know very well कि to attain the stability or to complete the octet, any element can do 2 things. Either they can lose or gain electron, or they can share the electrons. Stability gain करने के लिए 2 मेथड है. Either the exchangement of electron means कोई एक एटम लूज करे इलेक्ट्रॉन और दूसरा उसे गेन करे, and the second one is the sharing of electron. So over here, the ionic bond is formed by the ions with the help of ions. Hence, the main constituent particles are ions. Ions are the charged particles जो कब बनते हैं? When any atom either lose electron or any atom gain electron. कोई भी एटम इलेक्ट्रॉन लूज करता है या कोई भी एटम जब इलेक्ट्रॉन गेन करता है तो उस पर चार्ज आता है, which result in the formation of ions. If any element lose electron, then it result in the formation of cation which have positive charge. What I said, the element which loses the electron, it result in the formation of cation having positive charge. While if any element is accepting the electron, then it result in the formation of anion which have negative charge. ठीक है, what I said, if any element is losing electron, then it require, when any atom is losing electron, then it acquires positive charge and known as cation. While if any element is accepting electron, then it acquires negative charge known as anions. ठीक है, any element can minimum donate 1 electron and maximum number of electron donated is 3. Similarly, any element can accept minimum 1 and maximum 3 electrons. जितने इलेक्ट्रॉन लूज करेंगे it will gain the same number of positive ion charge, while जितने इलेक्ट्रॉन आप एक्सेप्ट करेंगे उतने ही नेगेटिव चार्ज. Usually metals are responsible for the formation of cation, while non-metals are responsible for the formation of anions. I hope it is clear to you. Now there are basically three conditions which are required for the formation of this ionic bond or electrolyte. These are high electronegativity difference, low ionization potential, and high electron affinity. ठीक है, three conditions हैं: high electronegativity differences, the low ionization potential, and the third one is high electron affinity. So what are these now? Let's see. The very first is high electronegativity difference. See beta, in ionic bond two things are required. The very first thing is metal. The very first element is metal, which is donating electron, and the second one is non-metal, which is accepting the electron. If the electronegativity difference between these two are very high, then it results in the formation of ionic bond. We all know very well that electronegativity means the tendency to attract shared pair electron. The tendency to attract shared pair electron. ठीक है, अब यहाँ तो आयनिक बॉन्ड है, शेयरिंग तो हो नहीं रही है. What is going over here? An element is donating electron and the other one is accepting. So अगर इलेक्ट्रोनेगेटिविटी डिफरेंस जितना ज्यादा होगा तो उतना उस इलेक्ट्रॉन को अपनी ओर अट्रैक्ट करेगा, पावर उसके अंदर आएगी. वो जिसकी इलेक्ट्रोनेगेटिविटी हाई है, that will attract more than other element. तो क्या होगा, एक एलिमेंट कंप्लीटली अपना इलेक्ट्रॉन लूज कर देगा. फॉर एग्जाम्पल, in a tug of war there are two teams and the one end of rope is held by one team and the other end is covered by the another team. तो जिसके अंदर ज्यादा पावर होती है वो कंप्लीटली उससे अपनी ओर पुल अप कर लेता है. तो यहाँ पे भी नॉन मेटल की इलेक्ट्रोनेगेटिविटी that will be more than that of metal. So what will happen, it will attract the electron of metal and acquire it. The second condition is low ionization potential. Ionization potential क्या था? The energy required to remove an electron from an isolated gaseous atom. The energy required to remove an electron. अब एक इलेक्ट्रॉन को रिमूव करने के लिए जो एनर्जी रिक्वायर्ड. Now here an element that is metal, it is losing. See, we were discussing about the ionization potential. Ionization potential means the energy which is required to remove an electron. You have to remove an electron from an isolated gaseous atom. अब एक इलेक्ट्रॉन लूज कर रहा है, हमने यही तो पढ़ा कि that in ionic bond an atom is going to lose an electron. It may be lose 1, 2 or 3, minimum 1 and maximum 3 electron. So अब उस इलेक्ट्रॉन को लूज करने के लिए उसे एक एनर्जी चाहिए, that is the ionization enthalpy और ionization potential. So ये जितना कम होगा इसकी वैल्यू, that will be more easier to isolate to remove the electron from that particular atom. This energy must be very low. So the second condition is low ionization enthalpy. The third one is high electron affinity. High electron affinity क्यों चाहिए? Ionic bond है. An atom is going to lose electrons, so other will be over there to gain it. For example, a teacher came in your class and he or she tries to teach you. अगर क्लास में कोई नहीं होगा, so why they will come and teach you? वो knowledge तभी तो दे रहे हैं because there is someone who is gaining that particular knowledge. So similarly, एक atom electron lose कर रहा है, so there will be this another atom who is gaining that electron. So जितनी ज़्यादा high electron affinity होगी, उतनी easily that particular atom will gain the electron. ठीक है? I hope it is clear to you. Here I have taken example of NaCl. NaCl have two elements, sodium and chlorine, in which sodium has 11 electrons total and the electronic configuration is 2, 8, 1. While chlorine has 17 electrons having the electronic configuration 2, 8, 7. Now, both of the atoms are unstable and they try to complete their octet. अभी octet इनका complete नहीं है. इसके outermost shell में it has 1 while chlorine has 7 electrons. So both of the atoms will try to complete their octet. So what will they do? They can do two things. For example, sodium. It has 1 electron in outermost shell. So it can do two things. Either कहीं से 7 electrons gain कर ले. Either it will gain 7 electrons or it will lose 1 electron. Now the thing is that to gain 7 electron we require more energy, but to lose 1 electron we require less amount of energy. So what will happen? This sodium atom loses an electron. एक electron lose किया, so it acquires 1 positive charge. Now we can see that it has 8 electrons in outermost shell and the octet of sodium ion get completed. Similarly, chlorine has 7 electrons. दो मेथड यहाँ पे भी है. Either it 7 electron lose कर दे or it will gain 1 electron. On gaining 1 electron, it acquires less energy. So it will gain the electron donated by sodium atom and become chlorine ion and complete its octet. See, this is the electron dot diagram which are commonly formed. While making this electron dot formula, what we have to do? We have to write down the elements in a sequence. Sodium, outermost shell में कितने electron थे बेटा? Only 1. We have to write the only number of electrons which are present in outermost shell or valence shell. So 1 electron, while chlorine has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. What is the sodium doing? Sodium is donating 1 electron to chlorine, hence it gains positive charge. While chlorine is accepting this electron, so it carry negative charge. I hope it is clear to you. Now the next topic is the properties of ionic bond. The very first property is very important. These compounds can conduct electricity only in molten state. In solid state, they behave as insulators. What I said, in molten state, ionic compound conduct electricity, but in solid state, they behave as a insulator. ठीक है? ऐसा कैसे हो सकता है कि एक स्टेट में it is conductor and in another state it behaves as insulator? It can be happen. क्यों? See, when the for example NaCl, in solid state their particles are closely attached to each other. There is no free charge presently. अभी इस पे कोई भी free charge नहीं है. But when it gets dissolved in water or any other solvent, immediately it, for example, when we dissolve it into water, it immediately ionizes into its ion, Na positive and Cl negative. So here they carry charge. In molten state, it carries charge, but in solid state, it do not have any charge. And we all know very well that the flow of charge or flow of electron is known as electric current. So the ionic compounds can conduct electricity only in molten state, while in solid state they behave as insulator. Due to this, their melting and boiling points are very high and they are highly stable. Okay? The next bond is covalent bond. This bond is formed by the mutual sharing of electrons. Mutual sharing means जितना मैं आपको दे रही हूँ, in return you also have to give me the same thing. Better example do. In examination room, what happened? Oh Ram, please tell me the answer of question number 5. Okay? He will immediately ask me. I will tell you, but first you have to tell me one question. ठीक है, एक मैं तुम्हें बताऊंगा, so you also have to tell me the one. Mutual sharing. और अच्छे समझना है, then we can take another example. For example, I am the student of 10th A, ठीक है, and there is some student which is studying in 10th B. Today is Wednesday and we both have the period of physics, chemistry and mathematics. There is a compulsion to carry out the book. But क्या होता है, बैग भारी हो जाएगा, who will carry the book? तेरा आप you have the second period of chemistry, please, and I have 4, so please give me your book. So what will I say? I will give you, but you have to give me the physics book in return. The mutual sharing is going on over here. So this type of bond is known as covalent bond, when mutual sharing is there. Any element can share minimum 1 electron, and maximum 3 electrons. If sharing of 1 electron is getting place, then single bond is formed. If sharing of 2 electrons is there, so then double bond. And if sharing of 3 electrons, then it results in the formation of triple. Okay. The number of electrons shared is known as its covalency. For example, in nitrogen molecule, 3 electrons are getting shared. So the covalency will be 3. Here I have given you 2 examples. The very first example is of oxygen, O2. Oxygen has 6 electrons in outermost shell. Both of these elements require 2 electrons. अब क्या करें? इसने कहा भाई तुम मुझे अपने 2 electrons दे दो. In return I am also giving you 2. So 2 electrons की sharing हुई, तो then O double bond. Over here, water molecule. The another example is of water molecule. अभी मैंने आपको बताया, oxygen require 2 electrons while hydrogen require 1. Previous slide में हमने देखा है. So what will happen? This oxygen will share 1 electron with this hydrogen and another with another hydrogen, and result in the formation of water. एक electron की sharing. Now, the condition required for the formation of covalent. Let us see. The covalent bond is formed basically between metals and non-metals. Sorry, only between non-metals. Here no metal is required. Only it is formed only between non-metal. So basically the electronegativity difference between elements is either 0 or very less. Electronegativity difference is either 0 or very less. For example, अभी हमने एक एग्जांपल देखा था फॉर्मेशन ऑफ ऑक्सीजन. Both of the atoms are of oxygen. Both of the atoms are of oxygen. What does it mean? That the electronegativity difference is 0. Another example, SO2. Oxygen and sulfur belongs to the same group. Oxygen के जज्बात सल्फर आता है. So the electronegativity difference is very less. So in the condition of formation of covalent bond, the electronegativity difference between elements will be either 0 or very less. But in few cases, it is very high. Only few cases. On the basis of this difference, these are of two types, polar and non-polar. If the electronegativity difference is very high, that means in very few cases, then it results in the formation of polar core. For example, HCl. Hydrogen belongs to first group while chlorine belongs to 17th group. So the electronegativity difference will be very high. We all know very well when we move from left to right in period, the electronegativity get increased. So the electronegativity of chlorine is more than that of hydrogen. तो जब इनमें शेयरिंग होगी तो what will happen? The chlorine will try to attract the shared pair electron. जिस वजह से हाइड्रोजन पे पार्शियल पॉजिटिव चार्ज आ जाता है एंड क्लोरीन एक्वायर्स पार्शियल नेगेटिव चार्ज. सो पार्शियल ही सही बट दे एक्वायर सम चार्ज, हेंस दे आर नोन एज पोलर मॉलिक्यूल्स. इन मॉलिक्यूल्स में एक एलिमेंट हमेशा हाइड्रोजन होगा. व्हाई? बिकॉज हाइड्रोजन इज द एलिमेंट विच इज प्रेजेंट इन ग्रुप फर्स्ट एंड ग्रुप 17 बोथ. ठीक है, लेकिन क्योंकि यहाँ पे एक शेयरिंग है, एक 17th ग्रुप का है, so it will be of first. Moreover, you can say that hydrogen can lose electron, but अगर ये electron lose कर देगा, if hydrogen loses electron, then it will not have any electron. That means atom get destroyed, which is not possible. So it will share one electron, and due to the high electronegativity difference, partial charge comes on it. And it results in the formation of partial positive and partial negative charge. The other example, the other type is non-polar covalent. In this case, the electronegativity difference between atom is not high. Sorry, it is by mistake. It is not high. It is either low or or 0. For example, CO2. The carbon belongs to group 14 and oxygen belongs to group 16. The electronegativity difference is very less. Another example is H32O5. Phosphorus belongs to group 14 and oxygen belongs to group, it belongs to nitrogen family, that is group 15, and oxygen belongs to group 16. So the electronegativity difference will be very less. So there is no charge over here, only sharing happens, so it do not require any pole and termed as non-polar covalent. Now what I explained you till now, this is a summary of this. First one is universal rule to get stable. ठीक है, what we require? stable electronic configuration. That means in outermost shell it will have 8 electrons, yani octet complete, but in case of hydrogen and helium it will complete its duplet, attain the nearest electronic configuration. This attraction force which form over here is known as chemical bond. This is by which three ways: electron transfer and sharing. Sharing को हमने two parts में किया था, covalent and second is coordinate. We will discuss it in next video. ठीक है? If it is by sharing, electron sharing, then covalent or coordinate. But if it is by the transferring, then it is known as electrovalent. That's all for today. Hope you all understand this. If you have any doubt, please comment in comment section. All the very best. Thank you.